I'm gonna need a little more than that. So today's a pretty exciting day. For those of you that are Canadian, you know that the gyms have been closed now for like probably 3 weeks, maybe even a month, all of the new year so far. And they open back up on January 31st, which is coming up in only 2 days now. But in the meantime, today I've actually been invited to a friend of mine's house who has his own mat set up where he actually teaches like kickboxing classes and personal training and all sorts of stuff like that. He invited me and some of our friends over and we're gonna do some training.
And I haven't actually done any training for a long time now, aside from some home workouts where I just do like body weight stuff and with the limited weights that I actually have there. So I'm really excited to do some grappling, and I know there's going to be some great training partners that are there today. So we're probably going to get up to some rolling, maybe some striking if we're feeling crazy, and then definitely some conditioning training at the end. So I'll let you know when I'm in there.
So after we got all warmed up, we started going over some technique, and I honestly didn't realize we would be going over anything before we started rolling, but I'm so glad we did because it actually gave me something to think about and try out during the rolling sessions that I'll show you later. Usually I like to show up to training with a bit of a game plan in mind in terms of positions or areas that I want to work on, but because I've been off for so long recently, it was a great way to go over a few things before and get some ideas before actually jumping into the rounds. Anyways, the techniques we focused on came from bottom side control. Brendan is the one teaching here, and he's a 10th planet purple belt, and he's just like really technical overall, so that was great. The first escape that you can see here is we worked on kind of an unconventional escape with an underhook from bottom, and it sets up perfectly into this triangle that we were all really liking. The second move is also from bottom side control, and this time your partner is tight with their hand, so you can't get the underhook. Brendan showed us the way to use your elbow and open up the guy's wrist and trap them in what's called platypus guard. Now, I know what you're thinking. Platypus guard? Yes, platypus guard. It's a 10th planet move, of course, with a name like that, and quite frankly, it's really great. So once they're in your platypus guard, they're in pretty deep trouble. The sweep or throw over comes very easily, as you can see here.
Let's see, facing the wall.
Oh, yeah. That's good. So you got like no music on your own, man.
I was saying about jiu-jitsu, I forgot.
Priorities.
Yeah.
I'm gonna throw this on like a random spot over here.
After realizing the camera was facing the wall, I decided to find a better spot for it, and then Patrick and I did a round. At this point, this was maybe the 4th or 5th round, so we were pretty warmed up. With another group on the mats, we didn't have a ton of room to wrestle, so Patrick gets a little single leg takedown here, and I really don't make an effort to get back up or anything just because, there's not a ton of room. Patrick's got a great passing game because he's fast, but more than anything, he's deadly with the straight ankle lock. As you can see here, he falls back on one, and I just had to tap. That's the worst part about taking time off because you forget your training partner's strengths, and I completely forgot how good he is with that. So we restart, and he pulls guard this time, and I'm in on a pretty decent leg drag and looking for potentially a darce, but really just trying to get to the head and neck. He was doing a great job with the left leg to keep his distance and stay in half guard, so I tried to smash it down and pass on the other side, but he secured closed guard. Then after a failed triangle, we were back to the start of this round, and I go for the leg drag pass again, and this time I'm even deeper. But I really rushed going for the upper body when I should have been more patient to find an underhook. Instead, I end up in decent position to do some body lock passing, but I can't secure my hands together, so I fished a hand under his leg, and this was just all so messy that I end up getting swept, and Patrick takes him out. From here, Patrick ends up pinning my arm and gets a leg under my head to set up the triangle. But before he could get his other leg over, I slip out the bottom and take his back, and now I finally have a dominant position, and the round ends. Now the next round, and I think the last round I have recorded here, is with Chris. Chris is a bit smaller than me, and honestly, how sloppy my last round was, I wanted to work on the move we were drilling just because it was fresh in my mind and I knew that type of system, so I just wanted to do something that I could kind of do structurally. So I actually let him pass into my side control. Chris was really tight with his hands, so I couldn't get an underhook, and it was a perfect opportunity to set up the good old platypus guard. Sure enough, I caught and trapped Chris's hand and was able to sweep him over. I was able to escape Chris's half guard and start to get into mount, but he swept me over and we ended up in my close guard, so I threw up a triangle. Now Chris is tough as shit, and I was squeezing pretty hard here, but neither the choke or the armbar were working. He did a great job getting his legs on top and escaping, and I was able to take his back after this with a body triangle. Again, his hand fighting defenses were so good that I had to give up on the choke and chose to go for an armbar. He was super slippery and I couldn't stay on the arm, so I jumped on a leg instead, and honestly, it's hard to see here, but I was pulling pretty hard on his knee, but he was just way too tough. I didn't have the greatest leg control to finish the knee bar, but still, all credits to Chris. He's super tough, and you'll see in the next few rounds, he just cannot be finished. And now here are some more highlights from that day. See that after we rolled, we actually did some conditioning here. So this was just a little circuit we did. There was 4 of us, so we set up 4 exercises and we just rotated through. And then finally we finished with some core partner drills. So this was like partner sit-ups with the med ball, and then we also did leg raises where the partner just throws the legs down. And finally we just finished off with a cool down and some stretching.
Okay, we're done. That was like 3 hours of training. It was like amazing. So good to get back on the mats. Massive shout out to Patrick for having me. Check out Sheehan Fitness. He's a well-rounded martial artist, but he specializes in kickboxing and he'll get you in great shape. I don't know how much of that footage I'm going to show, but we did probably like maybe 6 rounds of rolling, and then we got into our circuit training, and then we did stretches and a cool down, and then we just kind of like fucked around on the mats and just like worked on all kinds of things, different techniques. Oh, we did technique at the start too, what am I saying? And it was just really awesome. I can't wait for Monday to come and get back on the mats like consistently, and also for the gyms to open, because it's just, I've been missing my actual gym where I can go and lift weights and do whatever I want. Now I'm gonna head home, get some food, shower, and probably take an ice bath. Good, thanks. How are you? Can I please get 20 on number 7 and 2 bags of ice, please?
2 bags of ice?
Yeah. Thank you. You too. That should keep it cold.
So it's now 7:36. I don't think you can see that, but just take my word for it. I've showered, eaten, and I'm having my protein shake. So there's really only one thing left to do. Well, thank you for watching. I'm gonna get warmed up now.